rather play that or that? Which one do you? You can choose. You're allowed to choose. Play for it a little bit. Warm up. And then try the other one. Yeah? Yes or that? Be shy. Good, good. Okay. Don't settle. I always tell my students, like even in my studio, I have two pianos. I ask them, which one do you want to play on today? It also depends on what piece we play. Some pieces played on a specific piano doesn't work. For example, for me on this piano, I cannot play the Chopin number 2. What was that? The chromatic. I get stuck on this piano. So I switch to that and that works. So always try out, if you have at least have an option, try it out. Don't settle for one that you're probably going to not have to work as or choose the piano that you will not have to work too much on. Okay? Whenever you're ready. did such a, you did a fantastic, but she did a beautiful job coaching you on that one. How do you feel about it? Speak louder. And I will please come up. Okay. How do you feel about it?
I was a bit nervous because I just reviewed it last week.
How long have you been studying it?
I studied it for last exam.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Beautiful style. I love how you get the style of Haydn, the classical style. That was beautiful. But at the same time, you kept it expressive and singing. I love that. I love how also you have a good sense of longer phrasing. However, for this masterclass, I would like to emphasize it even more. Have you analyzed the phrase structure of this? Or you do it instinctively? Instinctively, oh, that's even more impressive. That's even more for me when I'm teaching. And I ask my students, okay, did you analyze the phrase of it? And they tell me no. And I've seen that there's that natural feel for it. I'm even more impressed. It means that you're going to play the piano. Okay, that being said, let's go through it, okay? Are you familiar with what we call the sentence structure of phrases? If not, I'll give you a crash course on it. So, classical music specifically, or even romantic music, has that sentence structure wherein here you have, play for me the beginning of this, just the beginning part of it, the main theme, and I will guide you through it, okay? Subject 1. Subject number 2. Very good. You got it? So, in that first phrase, there's 3 parts to it. It's like when you're saying, your name is Paolo, right? Paolo is a wonderful pianist. So that's your sentence. You have Paolo, the subject, and is a wonderful pianist, that's your predicate, right? We have the same thing in music. But the only difference really is that more often than not, the subjects are repeated twice, or at least a version of it, or slightly modified version. So here you have bum ba bum bum bum. That's kind of your subject one. Bum ba bum bum ba bum bum. Then you have a long predicate that's usually more expressive than the subject. Does that make sense? So if you look at this, there's subject 1, subject 2, and then you have the long predicate. Now, how you can even highlight those long phrases is to make sure that you have more expression on your predicates. And if you look at the dynamic markings, right, you see? Highlighted, right? And then here, you see? And then you have a longer crescendo there, and even bigger crescendo. First time we introduced the mezzo forte there, right? Does that open your perspective on it, phrasing-wise? So let's try again and think about it. Slightly less simple and long, expressive. Already 10 times better. Did you feel the difference? Then we hear completely that you are aware of your sentence structures. Right? You're aware of what you're saying. Right? That already was much better. Then let's try to do it. Same thing. So you have subject 1, subject 2, long predicate. Let's try the second sentence. Long. Expressive. Beautiful. That's already much better. Right? It was already very good to begin with. But that kind of will open up the phrases even more. Like, let it speak even more. Now let's try that one. So here you have subject 1, subject 2, and then the long. I marked it for you. right? Because what happens there is that you do a crescendo and then you kind of restart the crescendo and with it. Just keep on going, right? Because that, you see, that's your long predicate there. Here. Going on, now, you can go a little bit more, so that's really kind of like a shocking piano, subito piano. And when you have a sforzando like that, think, I tell my students, because often I teach very young kids, and with very young kids, a simple like, go forward there, they don't understand. But this they will understand. Imagine if daddy's throwing you up in the air. Whoa! Daddy's throwing you up, like, all the way up, all the way up. Good. Now, when someone is being thrown up, woof, it's going to take time for it to go down. But then this is kind of like the acrobatics of it. Daddy will catch you so gently, like I said, like woof, and then catch you. Right, let's try it there. Throw it up in the air. Beautiful. Continue. Good. That can be bigger. You know what kind of chord that is? What key are you in? F minor. What chord is that? Neapolitan. Bravo. Bravo. It's the Neapolitan. It has to be shocking. You know the G minor ballade starts at a Neapolitan. You know, that has to be shocking. Neapolitan chords have to be shocking, so you have to really commit to that. The Neapolitan chord. Let's try it again. Simple, simple, simple. Because this is, you don't want to announce it. So stay simple on the F minor. Commitment. Even more. Sforzando. It's not really the loudness of it, but it is the intensity of it. So, which means that your attack has to be a little bit more quicker. Now, whenever you have a shocking chord like that, this is when you need to do this. Look. Let your body guide that sforzando. Then you don't have to think about it. It will come as something natural. Better. Then wait. Oh, expressive. Much better. Now, can you lean even more? See, what I'm trying to do is stretch, open up the phrases. Because you have such beautiful consonant, long phrases, but your hills are kind of like this. I want to open it up like this, right? Something much bigger. So it projects that. That's right. Yeah. Baby. We can record that and sell it. Right? Good. So remember those things. Now, next question. How many legato touches do you know? Interesting question, isn't it? How many legato touches do you know? How many staccato touches do you know? Interesting question. Often, when I give a master class, I ask that question and I'm like, I always get a shocked face. Because we often think of legato as just, oh, it's connected, a staccato, oh, it's detached. But let's say I give you 5 different types. Now, that 5 different types, each one of them will carry with them a specific expression. Now, why I'm giving you this, because I want to give you a toolbox. so that you can use these different types of legato to vary your expression through your technique. So the way I teach technique is that I don't separate it from expression. So anything that you're doing technically has to have an equivalent expression, right? Why I do this is there are days when you're performing the same program for the 20th time. You're a little bit bored. Or maybe not as inspired, or the venue, the piano is not responding to you as much, right? You're not as inspired. But if you embed all your expression within your technique or your movements, then whether or not you're inspired that night, that day, that morning, whatever concert you're playing, it will come out. The expression, the technique will inspire you to feel the expression. Not just often when we're very inspired, we feel it on the fingers. But it will work the other way around too. If you program your expression already in your technique, then on the days that you don't feel that expression, it will come out. The touch itself will produce the emotion for you, and then you'll be more inspired to play it. Franz Liszt was once quoted saying, piano virtuosity begins and ends with touch. The great Franz Liszt. So you want to make sure that your touch represents everything that you're doing. So going back to the question, what legato do you know? Show me a legato. Play for me a scale. Good. Now, first legato. I call this overlap legato, where the notes completely overlap. If you want to make the piano sound like an organ, that's very useful. They completely overlap. Remember that, number one. I'm going to ask everyone to do it. Overlap legato. Second type of legato that I teach my students is what I call clinging. Clinging, when there is just but a little bit of overlap. So you have. Now that's very useful if you want to make something very, very cantabile. You know, like that interval. Right? To have that slight overlap, I call it clinging. The third one is what most students use. Simple legato. Basically, they're connected, but they don't have any overlap. Simple. Very clean. Now, the simple legato starts to become a mixture between singing and speaking. Right? It starts to become chatty. Next, number 4. Poco legato, or non-legato. Non-legato will have a little bit of air between them. So you have, like, there's a tiny bubble between them, and that makes it more chatty and more active. For example, if you're playing like that, very chatty legato. That's number 4, right? Number 5 is the staccato that wants to be a legato, a portato. You know the sign for portato? No, that's a tenuto. Yeah, it's with the dots. Yeah, portato. Now, a portato of all the legato is the one that's most labored. When you have a portato, think that that legato is being done by just one finger. And it so desperately wants to be legato. It so desperately wants to be legato. So the expression isn't the desperation of wanting to be legato. Make sense? Now that theme, we are going to decide what kind of legato we are going to use. Right? So you can embed more expressivity within that theme. So for your left hand, let's say, what kind of legato should we use for a little bit of overlap, right? Especially for those, so that you get the chords. Correct. Now, second layer. What kind of legato between the lower voice? You have overlap, clinging, simple, non-legato, and contato. Clinging, right? Now let's try. You see how by thinking about what kind of touch you use, you will be able to be more expressive, right? Good. Now, you have that repeated note. What kind of legato would you want for that? Because pum, 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 there's 3 notes, right? What kind of legato do you want? Or should it be not legato? I see. Tough questions. What do you think? Non-legato? What do you think? Poco legato, what do you think? Same? Yeah? What do you think? Non-legato? Poco? Yeah? Same? Same? Now, how would you sing it? How would you sing it? It depends on how it's coming through you. Do you sing? Oh, not really. Because you see what's interesting here is that he has here a legato marking. So he wants 2 different expressions there, really. Right? So, I would agree with them that maybe this is a poco legato. Right? Then on that legato you have what kind of legato there? Clinging. Right. I would do a clinging legato there so that your expression is even more clearer. See that? Now let's try that again. Now this is what I call a gold mine. That's a gold mine of different touches. See, I'm getting even more detail. First, what we did kind of like an overall phrase structure of it. Now I'm going into it. Now this is a gold mine because this, you can really show different touches there, right? So what kind of, for example, for this, what kind of legato there? Simple, right? Simple, right? And then for the going down. Clinging, okay. And for this, which one? Number 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5? 3, which is simple, back to simple. And then the going down. 2, clinging, right? So let's see that. Let's see if we like that. Start from there. Just the right hands. Good. Now, audience. Did you hear much difference in the touch? No. There's much difference? Maybe not enough for me. Let's make it even more contrasting. How about a poco legato there? You know why you want a poco legato there? Because if you cling on the notes and you want to play the notes fast, you won't be able to articulate it. Right? So you want that clear and then cling on this, and those may be a poco. At least separate them 2 notches of touches. So we hear a more contrast in the touch. Try it. Now, I'm going to go even further. How about simple legato here, going down more cleanly? Try. Oh, see? That started to give me goosebumps. Right? So consider different touches within a phrase. Don't settle for one. Yeah? You want to make it as interesting as possible. You know, so I adjudicated the preliminary rounds of the Seattle International Piano Competition. And because there's hundreds, 300, 400, hundreds of applicants, right, to listen to. Audio, we're not supposed to see the video, and I wasn't allowed to see the video, but I could hear it when I was prejudging it. I only really listened to the first 5 seconds. Or maybe 10 of every performer. The first 5-10 seconds are very revealing. That tells you a lot whether they have concept of touch, concept of expression, like that phrase structure maturity. So that beginning phrase, if you were to play this in an international piano competition, you have to make sure that everything is packed. There's so many things that you have to think about there. Right? Now, that being said, I'm going to throw you into the water, try to do it again with everything that we just assimilated. Subject 1, subject 2, predicate. How will you embed that, you know? I'll tell you something. Energy always moves, doesn't it? Think about that. Energy doesn't always moves. Energy always has to be in motion. The moment energy stops moving, it translates into tension because it gets stuck. Right? And often when we're nervous, we stop moving. Right? Our body stops moving. So when your body, your torso stops moving, you will eventually get the energy stuck. So what you can do is embed those phrases inside your body movement. Right? So when you have to go bigger phrase, really move towards the piano and back. Right? Even this. Move a little bit back so you get that natural diminuendo. Like when you want to do crescendo, move a little bit closer to the piano because you'll be able to put more weight. Right? Let's try that. So that it speaks a little bit more, because right now you're a bit clunky, right? A little bit more lifting. Feel that there's a little bit of air between the notes. Try. That's right. Use your body. Same thing for everything, right? Consider your touches. Now, where do you see apportato? Do you see any there? Not quite, right? Not quite. Ah, there. There. Now, what did we say about the expression of apportato? Trying to be legato. It's that trying. right? Is that trying almost like a desperate, right, touch. So let's try that from here, right? And show me how you can really get that portato to want to be legato. Much better. You have to commit though. Commit. Really commit. You're so musical. Why are you? Sometimes I ask myself, why are you not showing it enough? Right? Let yourself shine. Right? Don't be afraid of. Because some people say, like, okay, you're playing Haydn, you're not playing Chopin. You're too afraid now to express. Don't. Just express. People will have many different opinions of it, but go for it. I say go for it. Try it. Now, why now? How can, do you remember that throwing of a child up? Where can you embed that? How can you embed that in your movement? This. Dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Lift your hand, throw your hand up, right? So that it gives you just the right enough time to land. Then, if you ever forget that expressive image of throwing someone up, it's already embedded in your movement. Try. Ba-bum. Beautiful. See, the timing is just right. Right? Because not all the time we will think of that. We will be able to think of that image. Not all the time. But you have to have a backup plan. See that? Right, good. So the same thing for that. Good. Now, this is a different phrase structure. There's what we call antecedent and consequent phrases. Have you learned that yeah, so this is an antecedent consequent. So antecedent, consequent, right? So we need to have a different feeling between the antecedent and consequent phrases, right? And then the next question is, where is the peak of the antecedent phrase? Where is the peak of the consequent phrase? You want to play through it? Play through it so you can hear yourself. Try to play that. Good. So where's the peak of that phrase? What do I mean by peak is where's the destination? Let me ask you, do you like watching movies? No! Come on! Don't just live inside the practice or watch movies. My husband is an actor. And so, he's at the Screen Actors Guild. And we often get screeners from Hollywood. Screeners. And so those screeners, we have to watch them because he has to vote on them for the Emmy Awards, for the Screen Actors Guild Award. And I learn a lot from watching movies because it's no different than music. A very well-made film is just like a very well-composed music. Where do you want the most exciting part in a movie? In the beginning, in the middle, or if I'm 25, 0%, 25%, 50, 75, 100? 75. Right. It's on the 75 mark. If that slightly goes at 60% mark, the rest will feel very boring and dragging. Right? So there is a climax on that too. So when you're thinking of phrases, think of a movie where it's usually on the 75% mark of it, right? So if the end is here, right? Maybe somewhere here, right? Let's try. And how will you use your body to guide you towards that? Good. Now, so I would actually, this too, I would do crescendo going there, right? Not the other way around. Right? Now, let's talk about the legatos, because this is also gold mine. So what legato do you want here? Clinging. Now what legato for that? Non-legato, right? Yeah. You know why? Because if you have those little bubbles of air in non-legato, that arpeggiated passage there will start to laugh and giggle. You know, when you're laughing, there's a little bit of bubble of air. Let it giggle. Right? Let's try. Even more space between the notes. It's like someone tickling you. Good, good, very good. I always ask my students that. Rule of thumb coming from a tied note. There is a rule that I impose on my students. When coming out of a tied note, you want to play the first note of that after the tied note a lot softer than the decay of that. Right? If you don't, it will sound heavy. Because you can always do a crescendo after that. Then the shape of it is the nature of our instrument, because once you hit the key, there's just a slight bit of development of sound and it already starts to decay. Not like a sing away we go, no, we can extend that crescendo when you're singing, but on the piano you cannot. Right? So we have to understand the nature of our instrument. So you match the decay after a tied note, and then do like a crescendo and inflection, right? And change it, vary your touch. Try. Let's see. Now, you want that to have like a right? A swell. How will we do that technically? Is this. So then you have. If you go lift your arm up, it will give a little bit of a crescendo. So push a little bit more momentum from your arm when you're doing that. Try. Your arm. Good. Too much. Too big. Too big. Now, remember when you have a tight note, that's an opportunity to relax your wrist, right? Tell yourself to relax your wrist, and then more articulation of the finger then. Try. Good. Okay, now I'll give you what's your exercise there? So, what finger are you using here? One. While you're doing that, you have to lift your wrist. You know why? Because you need to swing. Yes. Yeah? Every time you have a fast passage coming from a long note, right? You have to lift your mechanism to be able to swing it. See? But if you don't, see? It doesn't have any momentum. You have to think of energy, how an energy will flow. So you have to lift this so that you can swing it down and around. Try. Much better. Bingo, right? So those little tricks, it always works. Right? If you want more momentum, you have to lift your mechanism, swing it around. Try from there. Much better. Good. Now, like you're singing it, because we cannot do the crescendo really on the piano, but the piano can somewhat simulate it. Think of the lifting as your crescendo. You know, try. No, like this. You know, lift your arm with it. Much better. Good. Now, remember, move with it. Now, when you're swinging your elbows, right? Energy, rule of energy. When you're swinging your elbows, you want to adjust your body with it too. So your body needs to move a little bit forward to accommodate the swing of the elbow and back afterwards. Otherwise, if you don't, you're going to get stuck in the middle of it. Try. Much better. That's slow. Continue. Good. You change finger there. Yeah. That's quicker. Yeah, sharp from there.